In the last video, we took a look at what the 3 measures of variation are that we are interested in. Let's go through an example where we will find the range, the standard deviation, and the variance. So here is a sample. Again, it's for the Chiefs and their point differential in 7 different games. It is a sample of 7 games. We are going to find the range first. To find the range, we take our maximum point differential, which was 31. From that, we subtract the minimum, which was 10. 31 minus 10, which gives us 21 points. So that is the range for our points. Next, we will find the standard deviation. This takes quite a bit of work. We will recall that the mean for this data set is 18. The first step in finding a standard deviation is determine the mean. So we found that it's 18. Now I'm going to write each of my data values. I'm going to write those in increasing order. I don't have to do this, but it will make some of my other calculations a little bit easier. So 10, 11, 11, 20, 20, 23, and 31. So I'll write that in a column. Next, I'm going to take and I'm going to subtract the mean. I'm going to subtract 18 from each of these data values, from the 10, from the 11, and each of those. Right? So 10 minus 18 is negative 8. 11 minus 18 is negative 7. And negative 7. 20 minus 18 is 2. 20 minus 18 is 2. 23 minus 18 is 5. And 31 minus 18 is 13. All right, so we have the differences. If you add up that column, this column here should all the time add up to 0. So if it doesn't add up to 0, then you've made some sort of slight error, but that adds up to 0, should add up to 0. Next, we are going to square each of those differences. So that negative 8, I'm going to square it. When you square a negative 8, it becomes positive 64. And we have positive 49. When you square the negative 7s, 2 squared is 4. 5 squared is 25. 13 squared is 169. So we've squared each of those data values. Right? So that is our next step in the process. If you look back at the last video, the differences, that second column, that is step 2. This is really step 3, where we have squared each of those differences. Next, we are going to go through step 4, which step 4 is we want to add up each of those squares. So when we add all of this up, we get 364. Step 5 in the process, once we have that 364, we are going to take that data value that we have there, and we are going to divide it by 1 less than the number in our sample. Right? So our sample happens to have 7 in it, so we are going to divide 364 by 6. That gives us something like 60.6 repeating. That is the variance. The units on that would be square points. That is like the 5th step in this process of finding the standard deviation. But 60.6 repeating is the variance. And finally, To get to the standard deviation, we're going to take that variance, that 60.6 repeating, we are going to square root it. And when we do that, we get something like 7.79. And the units here again are going to be points. So there we have found our standard deviation, 7.79 points. The variance is 60.6 repeating points squared, and the range was 21 points. In the next video, we're going to take a look at what does the standard deviation tell us? What can it tell us about data values and the data set itself? We will talk to you in the next video.